Good morning to all my dear students. Hope you all are safe at your home with your family by taking utmost precautionary measures to fight against COVID-19 pandemic outbreak. Let's fight it together and win. Myself Professor Om Bagade. Today I will going to deliver my talk on monoclonal antibody production and its application. This presentation is especially for all my dear students of TYB Farm. So let us start with a presentation. So when we talk regarding the monoclonal antibody production and its application, one should know what actually this monoclonal antibody is. This is a type of protein made in the laboratory that can bind it to the substances in the body, including cancerous cell. There are many kinds of the monoclonal antibodies are available. Monoclonal antibodies is made so that it binds to only one substance. Monoclonal antibodies are laboratory produced molecule engineered to serve as substitute antibodies that can restore, enhance or mimic the immune system's attack on cancerous cell. They are designed to bind antigen that are generally more numerous on the surface of cancerous cell than the healthy cells. Next, you can able to see the perfect word and the real word here. So this is the individual, you can say the community of whole pathogens or the microorganisms. They are happy as their own. Yeah, obviously these are the some smiling faces. Yeah, obviously this is our word. We are really happy without them. Obviously, this is the perfect word. But when these perfect word become unperfect, okay, or you can say in real word, so that pathogen or the microorganisms are really going to be entered into the human life. Yeah, likely these corona COVID-19, the pandemic virus has entered in our life and has really showed its shows rather a detrimental effect in the human life so far. So when these microorganisms are entered into the human life, so every the smiling face has changed into the that panic one. They have got embarrassed with the entry of this kind of things. And being pharmacist, we should just come up with this positive idea as far as your drug delivery system is concerned. So as far as the entry of these microorganisms are there in a human life is concerned, so yeah, obviously. So chicken pox, flu, cold, stomach upsets, and many more infections can be arises. Okay, and every phases will really going to be alarming for the and asking for the help. Okay, so help me, help me, help. Okay, so obviously we'll have to combat these kind of situations like corona. Yeah, and obviously we're going to be to fight these kind of situations. Okay, so to cure these kind of things, so monoclonal antibodies are really going to be useful in different way. Okay, so yeah, obviously it is also going to be cure your deadly cancerous disease too. Okay, so as like these real world, instead of these all microorganism, the corona has king of these all viruses. So okay, so not yet the vaccines or the antibiotics are really going to be useful to cure the these infection of corona, but soon we're going to be combat this kind of situations and will really win this battle. To know much more about these monoclonal antibody production, one should know first of all what actually the immune system is. As far as immune system is concerned, this word has came with the Latin word that is immunis, means exempt, referring to protection against the foreign agents. Definition of these immune system is to integrate the body system of organs, tissues, cells, and cell products that differentiates self from non-self and neutralizes potentially pathogenic organism. Basically this immune system has consist of two types, that is innate immunity and acquired immunity. Due to this innate immunity will get the primary response, and from this acquired immunity will get the secondary response. To know much more about this anatomy of the immune system, one should know, or rather, one should have the knowledge related with these adenoids, tonsils, thymus, spleen, Pierce patches, bone marrow, appendix, lymphoid vessels, lymph nodes. So these are the all parameters which comes together to build the immune system. Out of these Pierce patches are really going to be helpful for the absorption of drug in a different manner. So Pierce patches having the better role as far as the absorption of the drug molecule there in the stomach is concerned. So Pierce patches are really going to be useful to provoke, to enhance the absorption. As far as the cell of the immune system is concerned, one should know what actually these pluripotent stem cells. These pluripotent stem cells form two distinct lineages. These pluripotent stem cells in the bone marrow produces these myeloid stem cell as well as these lymphoid stem cells, or you can say myeloid progenitors and lymphoid progenitors. As far as the its activity is concerned here, when we talk regarding these myeloid progenitors, which will be really going to be differentiated further into the granulocytes and macrophages progenitors that further differentiated into the granulocytes and the monocytes. Accordingly, as far as this differentiation is concerned, it will really going to be differentiate later into the macrophages. Likewise, this myeloid stem cells, these lymphoid stem cells also going to be differentiated into the thymus, and then thymus is again differentiated into the T lymphocytes. Likewise, this lymphocyte stem cells also going to be differentiated into the NK lymphocyte and B lymphocyte. These B lymphocytes again differentiated into the plasma cell. So with respect to this fashion, the immune system is really going to be built up. So this is nothing but ultimate the contribution of the cells by which one can show a self-defense mechanism next to the antigen and make it neutralize and save our life. This is actually the function of immune system. Actually, this immune system or the immunology which we have already learned in SYB farm as far as pharmaceutical microbiology is concerned. So as far as functioning of this immune system is concerned, these responses are the crucial, performing their crucial role. So these responses are of two type. One is your humoral immune response, which is also called as antibody mediated immune response, and another is cell mediated immune response. So to know much more about these immune response, how it really going to be trigger out and will going to secrete the antibody to neutralize our antigen. So when we talk regarding the antigen, its first exposure, then there are the chances are it will really going to be engulfed by the macrophages, or either it will really going to show its effect with respect to the free antigens directly activated. So that is nothing but the first arm, and in second arm the antigen displayed by the infected cell activated, which will really going to differentiate into the cytotoxic T cell, and these free antigens directly activated and differentiated the B cells. But when these first exposure of this antigen it is engulfed by the macrophages, then it become APC. That APC which will going to be stimulates the helper T cells which really going to be stimulates these B cells, which is already, when the antigens are really going to free, then directly that B cells going to be activated by these antigen. And on another hand, when we talk regarding the stimulate helper T cells, which will really going to be stimulate the cytotoxic T cells as well, when this cytotoxic T cell which will give rise to the active cytotoxic T cells, which will really going to be differentiated later on, okay. And meanwhile these cytotoxic T cells, these B cells, after stimulation or differentiation, it will really going to be give rise to the plasma cells as well as the memory B cells too, okay. So cytotoxic T cells which give rise to the memory T cells as well as active cytotoxic T cell. So first of all it will give you the memory T cells, and B cells which will give you the memory B cells. Okay, so when these helper T cells which will really going to be stimulates, it's a part thing. Okay, but apart from that, when these helper T cells which will really going to be differentiated the memory helper T cells, then it is also going to be stimulated in the different aspect of humoral immune response as well as cell mediated immune response. So memory helper T cells which also going to be stimulates these memory T cells, and these memory helper T cells which also going to be stimulate these memory B cells to get these individual responses. Okay, so these after all, when the second exposure of this antigen is concerned, it is really going to be back to stimulate the memory helper T cells. Okay, and accordingly it will really going to be provoke and stimulate the memory B cells as well as memory T cells to get the humoral immune response as well as cell mediated immune response individually or respectively. When we talk regarding the activation of these plasma cells as far as humoral immune response is concerned, it will really going to secretate the antibodies which will really going to be defend the against the extracellular pathogens by binding to antigens and making them easier targets for the phagocytes and complement. Meanwhile, at the another hand, when we see these active cytotoxic T cells, it also going to be secreted the antibody which will really going to be defend against the intracellular pathogens and cancer by binding and lysing the infected cells or the cancer cells. So with this individual or the respective mechanism, one can really know all about or will get all about the cell mediated immune response as well as the humoral immune response, or you can say the antibody mediated immune response. Immunotherapy, what actually this immunotherapy is. Okay, so treatment of this disease by inducing and enhancing or suppressing the immune system. So immunotherapy which having also perform its own role with the two aspect, that is one is in the active mode as well as in the passive mode. Active mode is also called as the active immunotherapy and passive mode is also called as the passive immunotherapy. In case of active immunotherapy, it stimulates the body's own immune system to fight the disease. In case of passive immunotherapy, it does not rely on the body to attack the disease. Instead, they use the immune system components such as antibody and created outside the body. These are the basic understanding of these structure as well as the structure as well as this class. So we know that what actually these antibodies which really have their own role and its structure. Okay, so as far as the structure is concerned, we know that the disulfide bridge has performed its role better to make neutralize antigen. Apart from the disulfide bridge, there are the different types of the parameters are really going to shows its activeness next to the antigen and make it neutralized. As far as the classes of these antibodies are concerned, so we do have the IgA, IgG, IgE, then IgD, then IgM. So we're going to see the structure, so how physically it look like. Yeah, obviously this is very eminent persons. Really we proud of them. They have won the Nobel Prize in Medicine and Physiology. They have awarded this Nobel Prize in the year of 1984. So Mr. Kohler, Milstein and Chern has got this breakthrough. Its real beginning of the monoclonal era, George Kohler and the Cesar Milstein fused mouse lymphocytes with the plasma cell, which is isolated from the neoplastic mouse, which will really going to be useful for the monoclonal antibody production. So they have done with the fusion of these mouse lymphocytes. They have fused with the plasma cell. They got the hybridoma, which will later produced the specific antibodies. These offers the limitless supply of the monoclonal antibodies. These monoclonal antibodies permit the diagnostic test that are specific and function as probes. So this is very actually the finest research they have done, and for this purpose they have honored with these um, Nobel Prize in the year of 1984 in the medicine and physiology discipline. Nomenclature, when we talk regarding the nomenclature of the monoclonal antibody is a naming scheme for the assigning generic or non-proprietary names to a group of medicines called monoclonal antibodies. This scheme is used for both the World Health Organization, international non-proprietary names, and the United States adopted names. Study of myeloma leads to discovery of monoclonal antibodies. In 1990s, the B cells cancer myeloma was known, and it was understood that these cancerous beta cells all produce a single type of antibody. This was used to study the structure of antibodies, but it was not possible to produce the identical antibodies specific to a given antigen. Yeah, this is a very beautiful picture of this mouse from which we have taken up the spleen cells, and we have fused together with the myeloma cells and produced the monoclonal antibodies. Okay. Apart from these, there are the different types of the things are possible here as far as the characteristics are concerned. So monoclonal antibodies are a single type of antibody that are identical and are directed against a specific epitope, which consist of antigen, antigenic determinant, and are produced by beta cells, clones of a single parent or a single hybridoma cell line. A hybridoma cell line is formed by the fusion of one beta cell lymphocyte with a myeloma cells. Some myeloma cells synthesize single monoclonal antibody naturally. Hybridoma creates the monoclonal antibodies. So here we are able to see these different types of the physical nature of the myeloma cells, which has really going to be fused together with these spleen cells, which has really secreted from or extracted rather from the mouse. Monoclonal antibodies are typically made by fusing myeloma cells with the spleen cells from a mouse that has been immunized with the desired antigen. However, recent advances have allowed the use of rabbit beta cells. To know much more about the monoclonal antibodies as well as the polyclonal antibodies, one should know what actually it is. Okay, so we'll see one by one. First of all, we'll see this polyclonal, what it is. So polyclonal antibodies, which will really going to derive from the different beta lymphocyte cell lines, whereas monoclonal antibodies derived from a single beta cell lines. We'll have to emphasize on these both differentiative parts of these individual antibodies. In case of polyclonal antibodies, batch to batch variation will be affected, which will really going to show its effect with respect to its own identity as polyclonal as well as monoclonal. So batch to batch variation and which are really going to be affecting antibody reactivity and titer. In case of monoclonal antibodies offer reproducible, predictable, and potentially exhaustible supply of antibody with exquisite specificity. Where in case of this polyclonal antibody, which is not powerful tool for the clinical diagnostics test, okay, whereas in case of monoclonal antibodies, it is enable the development of secure immunoassay. Yeah, this is all about these monoclonal antibody production, what we can say, these hybridoma technology. Okay, so obviously we'll for this production we'll have to take the suitable candidature. As a mouse, we'll have to inject the specific antigen from which we can extract the spleen cells. On another hand, we'll have to take the myeloma cells, which has really extracted from the neoplastic mouse, okay, and which has really going to be kept into the SGPRT medium. So what actually this SGPRT medium is? It is a hypoxanthine guanine phosphoribosyl transferase. Transferase is a enzyme encoded in the humans the HPRT1 genes. Okay, so this HGPRT plays a central role in the generation of purine nucleotide through the purine salvage pathway. Okay, so this spleen cell as well as this myeloma cell which has extracted from these neoplastic mouse will have to make it fuse together. Okay, so when we're going to fuse together, okay, so that we'll have to make it possible to explore or to proliferate this culture into the hat medium. So what actually the composition of this hat medium is? So hat medium, which consists of the hypoxanthine, aminopterine, thymidine, which is really going to be useful for the artificial selection for the cells. So these myeloma cells cannot grow in the hat medium as these cells lack the SGPRT, and these hybrid cells survive in the hat medium as it inherits the SGPRT from B cells. So in a real sense, we can see that these kind of these cells which can be fused together, okay, and apart from these, the proliferations can be takes place as far as the selection of these appropriate spleen cells as well as the appropriate myeloma cells are concerned. So this fusion takes place in a such a way that only the spleen cell as well as this myeloma cell which is alive, which really going to be fused together. But when we talk regarding only the fused or unfused spleen cells, it will really going to be dead later on. Okay, likewise in these spleen cells, these myeloma cells, if it is individually fused or unfused, so it may be really going to be shows its inactivations at last. But when we take these activated spleen cells, individual activated spleen cell as well as these myeloma cells, which will really going to be fused together, which that fusion of the spleen cell as well as these myeloma cells can only be proliferate, and which will have to be dip into the or proliferate into the culture into the hat medium. So apart from that, this test shows the supernatant for the antibodies. Okay, so whatever the supernatant will get later on, we'll have to take it and which has to be exposed it for the different types of the test. Okay, third step is what we'll have to clone each positive culture. Positive culture means what? Positive culture which only consists of the single cell of the spleen cell as well as these myeloma cells, that is nothing but the hybridoma. That is what we can call upon a positive culture. Apart from these, the fourth step is which gives you the idea, test each supernatant for the antibody. So only that kind of the hybridoma of the positive culture which having the ability to produce the antibody that can only be in expand or proliferate for the positive clone, and that only positive antibodies which will really going to be shows its effect later on. So apart from these steps, when we'll get the hybridoma at this stage of fifth one, so it will really going to be propagate either in vitro or in vivo. So for the in vivo purpose, we're going to select the mouse, and as far as the in vitro culture is concerned or study is concerned, we're going to be harvest this monoclonal antibody artificially, and meanwhile which will really going to be fruitful actually to harvest this monoclonal antibody. So harvest the monoclonal antibodies can be possible with the help of in vivo study as well as the in vitro study as well. So we'll see these kind of presentation of production of monoclonal antibodies step by step. So this is the production of the monoclonal antibody, the which is called as the hybridoma technology also. So in case of step 1, student, you have to remember this kind of the four to 5 steps of production of the monoclonal antibody. Just make emphasize on this step by step. So in case of first one, immunization of mice and selection of mouse donor by generation of the hybridoma cells. Okay, so we have to take the antigen along with the adjuvant. Antigen which consists of intact cell or whole cell membrane or microorganism along with the adjuvant. Adjuvant is nothing but a specific emulsification or the emulsification process or emulsifying agent you have to add. So along with these antigen and the adjuvant, will have to inject these antigen along with the adjuvants to the mouse. Okay, and we'll have to extract the spleen cell from these infected injected mouse. So apart from the extraction of these cells, we'll have to isolate the spleen cell and expose it for the antibody titer reached in the serum. So spleen is successfully removed. Okay, so with the help of the source of cell, you will get your spleen. Next, this is your step 2, that is which consists of screening of mice for antibody production. So as far as this antibody production is concerned, we will going to be able to see here after several weeks of the immunization, okay, the serum antibody titer determined with the help of the different techniques. So the ideal techniques are really going to useful for the determination of this titer is ELISA. Then another is your flow cytometry. As far as this ELISA technique is concerned, which is based on the amount of titer together. Okay, so when we talk regarding the titer, if it is too low and if your titer if it is too high, so no problem regarding the boosting of the production of the pure antigen. Okay, so as far as the titer 2, if it is too low, then it will really going to boost. Okay, and obviously the screening of the antibody is possible to determine next to the pure antigen. As far as this titer high is concerned, if the titer if it is too high, then it also going to be boost. Okay, and will show the response towards the pure antigen. In case of step 3, it is really the preparation of the myeloma cells. Actually, the myeloma cells, which is really we are taking here the myeloma cells from the neoplastic mouse. Okay, so which is a immortal tumor of lymphocytes. Okay, we'll have to fuse together with the 8-azaguanine. Okay, after fusion of these myeloma cells along with the 8-azaguanine, you will get these myeloma cells which will have to dip into the SGPRT medium, that is hypoxanthine guanine phosphoribosyl transferase. Okay, so what it does, these enzymes which will really going to be encoded in the humans by the HPRT1 gene. So SGPRT gene, which will really going to play a central role in the generation of purine nucleotide through the purine salvage pathway. Okay, so which will really going to show its high viability and the rapid growth. Next step, the fourth step, which consists of fusion of myeloma cells with the human spleen cells and the selection of hybridoma cells. As I have already told you that spleen cells, which must be show its consistency towards the fusion of the individual myeloma cells, which must be active. But when we talk regarding the fused spleen cells or unfused spleen cell, later on it will going to die. Okay, likewise spleen cells, myeloma cells, when if it is fused or unfused individual myeloma cells, yeah, obviously it will going to be die. But perfect combination of the active spleen cell, one active spleen cell and one myeloma spleen cell, when it will really going to be fused together with the help of PEG, okay, then this fusion will have to feed or incorporate into the growth medium. That is nothing but the hybridoma cells what you will get. So this is nothing but the combination of the myeloma cells. So you will get the fusion of these spleen cells and the myeloma cells. You can call it as a hybridoma cell. Okay, and you will have to keep with the help of ELISA plate, okay, with respect to the hat medium, that is nothing but hypoxanthine aminoterine thymidine, which is useful for the artificial selection for the cells. Okay, so with this respect to this incorporation or the formation of this hybridoma cell, First is plating of the cells into the hard selective medium, and apart from that, second step is scanning of the viable hybridoma. The fifth step, which consists of the cloning of hybridoma cell line by limiting dilution or the expansion. So first is your clone each positive culture. Second is your test each supernatant for the antibody. Later on, we'll have to expand these positive clones and propagate and observe and expose it for the investigation with respect to the in vitro with the help of in vitro study as well as the in vivo. For the in vivo, we'll have the mouse as a suitable candidature. As far as the in vitro study is concerned, we'll have to take the help of tissue culture method, and with the both fashion in vitro as well as the in vivo study, we can able to harvest our monoclonal antibodies. This is actually the at last picture of your hybridoma. So wherein we'll able to summarize our hybridoma technology. So for that purpose, we'll have to immunize the mouse with the help of antigen as well as the adjuvant. We'll have to extract the spleen, okay, which will really going to produce the lymphocytes. Later on, we'll have to identify the spleens with the yellow color, okay, and these myeloma cells which we got it from the neoplastic mouse. So we have also obtained the brown cells from the neoplastic mouse, okay, and this is nothing but the cell fusion, exact cell fusion of these yellow and brown. So here is nothing but the exact fusion of these yellow and brown. You will get the hybridoma, and we'll have to expose it for the different types of the medium for the better proliferation and for the production of the monoclonal antibody by selecting the positive hybrid cell and cultivation of these positive clones into the exact monoclonal antibody production. As far as the production of these antibodies, monoclonal antibodies are concerned, we should know the evolution of the monoclonal antibody. So first, with the help of the mouse protein, 100% mouse protein, the first murine has developed as a first monoclonal antibody which has name as afalimumab. Okay, so this is the first monoclonal antibodies which has produced with the help of 100% mouse protein. Next, that is second chimeric one. We had seen that what actually the chimera is. It is like a your Narasimha, okay, lion's head, then serpentine tails, and body is of your goat. Okay, so this is all about this chimera. So 20% mouse protein here for the production of infliximab has useful. So now this is the second generation of the second monoclonal antibody, you can say, which consists of the 20% mouse protein. Second monoclonal antibody is CDP-870, which consists of the 10% mouse protein. So for the production of CDP-870, the 10% mouse protein has used, which is of third humanized, okay, and fully humanized. When we talk regarding the monoclonal antibody which has got produced or manufactured with the help of human cells, so no mouse protein has used here. So adalimumab D2E7 is the code name of the adalimumab which has manufactures